Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to what is possibly the the final thrilling part of this episode of Umineko When Seagulls Cry. Let us continue. I listened closely, but I didn't hear anything. The mansion was vast, and since the passing typhoon was making its last stand, the sound of the rain was even noisier than before.
Maria-chanは確か客までテレビを見たいと言ってたよね。階下に降りてみよう。
そうですね。行ってみましょう。みんなは周りに用心して。
わっ。
Without Natsui in the center, her rifle readied and her finger on the trigger. We moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. It was just as though the magic circle designed to spread discord had worked. We had split up, and furthermore, had been dragged out into dangerous territory. In other words, even now we were doing just what the culprit wanted us to do. This is a separate world where it wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. Aunt Natsui nervously pointed the barrel of the gun at every dark spot and shadow. It felt like that motion was out of fear rather than caution. But the rifle she held in her hand should have been the trump card the culprit feared.
僕はずっと思ってたんだ。カノン君のように胸にあのアイスピックを突き刺すことは不可能ではないと思う。でも母さんたちのように頭蓋骨を打ち抜いて眉間に突き立てるなんて簡単なことじゃないと思うんだ。
犯人はそれだけバカ力ってことか。
多分あのアイスピックを飛ばす、あるいは打ち込む射出機のような武器があるんだよ。人力だけであれだけ深々と刺突するにはあの絵は短すぎる。
いずれにせよ頭蓋骨を打ち抜くほどに強力です。カノンの傷も肺にまで届いていたそうです。もし相手の姿を見ても決して前に出ないように。私の後ろから出てはいけませんよ。
Just how sinister and frightening was the weapon that could shoot those creepy ice picks. And could I do anything to combat it with just this candlestick in my hand? In the first murder, the culprit probably assaulted all four of our parents at once as they discussed the inheritance problem in the dining hall. And there was four of us here now. Apparently, I wasn't the only person thinking this. Well, if there were four of them together, you kill the first person, quickly. Three people are still stunned. You kill the second person quickly. And now you've got one person versus two. You kill the second person before they have a chance to react. And then you're in a 1 versus 2 situation where you have a weapon and they don't. George, Aniki, Jessica, and of course Aunt Natsui. We're stretching their senses to the utmost limit, in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step, then another. What have we done? Because of the seeds of doubt spread by that one letter, we threw Maria and the rest into the middle of this terrifying world. We finally reached the first floor. Yeah, it wouldn't actually be especially difficult to kill all of them in the study without being able to access the study themselves. Just burn the whole mansion down. We finally reached the first floor. The parlor was just across the hall. When we listened carefully, you could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally, as though she was in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, like she was at a graduation ceremony and she'd been ordered to. The song she sang was just a common folk song, one that everyone has probably sung in school at one time or another. But why that? In the middle of the night, alone, with all her heart, over and over. Why? Right after leaving the study, we called out in a loud voice, asking Maria where she was. This time, no one said even a single word. We hid our breath from the sound of our footsteps, and intensely focused on our surroundings to the point of being completely high-strung. We stepped forwards. The door to the parlour was closed, but we could hear Maria's singing voice through it. Aunt Matsui put her hand on the handle of the doorknob, and George Anarchy stopped her.
扉は僕が開ける。夏日おばさんとバトラ君は武器を構えてて。
わかりました。気をつけて。
開けると同時に攻撃してくるかもしれないぜ。ジョージ兄さん、注意して。
じゃあ行くよ。
Tried to open it, but immediately felt the hard resistance of the lock. Aunt Matsui took the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. There were about 10 keys, and none of us had a clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly and test several of the keys. Since we had hidden our footsteps, preparing to make a surprise attack on the ring, this felt almost fatal. The whole time, you could hear Maria's voice from the parlour, singing the same song over and over. It was like a broken, crazy cassette tape. Would you already be dead? We'd been in that room almost constantly since morning. All the frightening things had occurred outside that room. That had left us with the impression that only this room was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart.
開いた。
And at the same time, she stopped singing.
ありがとう。ジョージ君とジェシカは後ろに下がって。
おばさん、一気に飛び込んで左右に分かれよう。扉を開けてボサッとしてたら例のアイスピックがど真ん中に飛んでくるかもしれねえぜ。
承知しています。いいですか？
やっぱ嫌だって言いてえな。
I readied myself. If they're going to be throwing ice picks, I'll whack them with this candle stand.
行きます。
And Natsui rammed into the door before flying into the parlour, quickly splitting up left and right and searching the parlour for someone who might be waiting for us. What our eyes landed upon was an incredibly strange sight. The parlour was stained with blood. What's that there? It looks like Maria's crown. And yeah, I guess that looks like Maria's black, but maybe it's blood rather than a pink dress. This place, where we spent almost the entire day, where we pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, had been stained with fresh blood, had become an ocean of blood. On the floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanju. Their entire bodies stained bright red with blood. But the only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because, that's right. This is how the whole tragedy started. Their faces, just like our smashed up parents in the shed. You couldn't tell where their eyes stopped and their noses began. Well, Maria isn't dead yet. Possibly. Isn't listed as being dead yet. Okay, I'll put this in the editing, and I'll make a note of it. But I will go back to previous save after they've been cast out and see what the portraits were like then. If anything's changed, then I will update it then. Kumasawa? Yeah, I'll do this first. Their faces, yeah. You couldn't tell where their eyes stopped and their noses began. It was as though they'd rudely plunged their faces into tomato pot pies, all squished up. Wow! That wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. There was those demon ice picks. Mirroring Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanju's thigh, no, his knee? That's right, of course it's his knee. In the Epitaph, the 6th twilight was the stomach, and with the 7th twilight the knee was gouged. So after seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Ba-chan's calf, I couldn't help masochistically laughing. That's right. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. The 8th twilight gouge for leg and kill. Ah, now even the 8th twilight is over. And the next one, 9th twilight. What was it again? Maria, what's there? She was facing the wall in the inner part of the room, standing stock still, completely alone. She faced away from this horrible scene, standing by the wall, singing her song over and over. There was nothing else in the room. Just the corpses of the 3 who had been brutally killed, and the phone receiver, which was still off its hook, proving that this was the room the call had come from. Just that, and Maria, her back to the scene, she kept singing while facing the wall. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare, shocked with our mouths hanging loosely open. Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing on and on. We'd come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger. So, now that we'd found her, we should have been running up to Maria, hugging her, joyous that she was safe. And yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because, that's right, even if that's crazy, no, it couldn't be.
Maria!
At some point, Aunt Natsui and I had pointed our weapons at Maria's back. Is anyone looking at their own, like, the entrance way? Have we had any mention of George since he opened the door? I yelled at Maria in a violent voice, but there was no reaction. She just kept singing. With the candle stand still readied, I ran up to her and forcefully, I violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder, and I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And, so unhappy at having her singing interrupted, Maria looked into my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was just like normal.
Maria!
Wondering? Nah, they don't seem to have used any blood in this one. That's fine. I threw the candle stand I'd been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart. But Maria's expression didn't change at all.
よすんだバトラ君マリアちゃん今度こそ君は3人を殺す犯人の顔を見たはずだよ犯人は君に手紙を渡したというベアトリーチェなのかい
No, it's a different Beatrice.
ベアトリーチェ
ああならこれで確定したぜ19人目はいるんだよベアトリーチェは実在するんだじゃあマリアこれくらいは教えてくれるよな奴はこの3人をどうやって殺したんだ何をどうやったらあんなむごい殺し方ができるんだ
知らない
知らないってことはねえだろこの部屋での出来事だぞ歌を歌うのに夢中で気づかなかったとか言い出すんじゃねえだろうな
落ち着いてバトラ君マリアちゃん僕とお話ししようね
George Anarchy, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so their eyes met and talked to her very kindly.
マリアちゃんはどうして壁を向いてお歌を歌っていたのかな
ベアトリーチェがここでね壁を向いてお歌をずっと歌っていなさいって言ったの
じゃあベアトリーチェがここへやってきたんだねその時にはまだ源氏さんたちは生きていたんだよね
みんなで客間に来て座ってた源氏さんはちゃんと鍵をかけてたよ
確かに鍵はかかってたがじゃあどうやってベアトリーチェは客間に入ってきたってんだよ
でもベアトリーチェは魔女だから鍵なんか関係ない。蝶々になって扉の隙間から通り抜けてきたんだよ。
はあ、冗談も休み休み言いやがる。そんなわけねえだろ。お前は何を言ってやがるんだ。
信じられないよね。だから言いたくなかった。どうせ言っても信じないもん。
I mean, in this situation, the door could be locked from the inside or the outside at any point. So there's no... Even though the door was locked when they came in, that really doesn't mean anything.
でもベアトリーチェは魔女なの。不思議な魔法で何でもできるの。だからベアトリーチェは鍵のかかった扉なんか全然関係ないんだよ。
それで現れたベアトリーチェは、そしてみんなはどうしたの？
ベアトリーチェは言ったよ。おじいさまの書斎は強力な力に守られていてどうしても入れない。だからあと3人の生贄はこの客間の4人の中から選ぶって。みんな嫌だって言ったよ。熊沢さんは嫌だ嫌だってすごい言ってた。でもベアトリーチェは選ぶよ。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはマリアはいいよって言ってくれたの。どうしてだと思う？
Because of the scorpion?
バトラがマリアの安全を祈って念を込めてくれたあの火星の5の魔法陣のサソリのお守りがあったからだよ。だからその力でベアトリーチェはマリアにだけは何もできなかった。だから生贄はマリアじゃない3人に決まったの。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはね、言ったの。
さあさあ、壁に向かってお歌を歌って聞かせなさい。あなたはたくさんたくさんお歌を歌うから、何が起こって何が聞こえても聞こえない聞こえないわからない。さあさあ、楽しいお歌をわらわにたくさん聞かせておくれ。
Well, obviously, Maria disobeyed her order because she only sang the same song. She didn't sing lots of songs.
だからマリアはずっとお歌を歌ってた。ずっと歌ってたんだよ。だから何も聞こえないわからない。そしたらバトラたちがやってきたんだよ。
それを信じろってのか？バカにするんじゃねえぜ。
じゃあ今度は誰を疑う？マリアを疑う？マリアをこの場で殺してみる？そんなことしてもベアトリーチェはいなくならない。これで第8の番は終わったよ。ベアトリーチェは蘇る。
ふざけんな。もうそんな話は金輪際ごめんだぜ。
And none shall be left alive.
魔女なんているもんか。煙に巻かれてたまるか。俺は認めねえぞ。ベアトリーチェなんていいね。絶対に俺が認めねえ。だから存在なんかさせねえ。蘇りもさせねえ。伝説は永遠に伝説のままだ。この俺がそんなことを認めね
よせよバトラ。マリアが殺したわけでも見殺しにしたわけでもない。ベアトリーチェが来てマリアは抵抗できず従わざるを得なかっただけだぜ。
あれ、夏日おばさん？おばさんがいない。
あれ。
母さん。
And here I was thinking that it was George that would disappear.
さっき手紙を読みながら一人で出て行ったよ。
A letter? That makes sense. Colbert must be so exhilarated now that we've reached its twilight. They might have left a letter so that they could brag even more. We were so wrapped up in questioning Maria that we forgot to look for a letter. But even as well armed as she was, why had she left the room by herself in this dangerous mansion after reading it? Jessica tried to chase after her and tugged at the handle to the door, but it resisted strangely and wouldn't open.
母さん、お母さん、何これ。開けて、開けて。
It was only natural. Natsuki had picked up the candle stand, which Battler had thrown at the wall, which had fallen to the floor. She had then skillfully wedged it between the doorknobs and the double doors like a bolt holding them closed. The intricate design of the candle stand caused it to get caught solidly, and it really did make for a sturdy seal on the door. The tragic scream of the daughter for her mother. Did it reach Natsuhi's ears or not? Is this the end? Natsuhi's figure was alone in the entrance hall. It was the place decorated by the portrait of Beatrice. Natsuhi threw down Beatrice's last letter, one she had read in the parlour, ready to rifle again, and in a voice that rang clear, yelled in the massive space that was the entrance hall.
後宮家代表後宮夏日です。姿を見せなさい、黄金の魔女。ベアト。
The entrance hall was dimly lit, other than a faint light which shone on the centre of the room. Everything was blotted out by the jet black darkness. Oh, in that darkness, butterflies glittering in gold squirmed, twinkled, and sneered. Natsuhi gave one more huge gulp and pointed the cold barrel of the gun at the gold butterflies.
ようやく姿を現しましたね。あなたのような存在は私は未だ信じることができない。
Are we certain that it's golden butterflies and not just golden points kind of floating through their vision? Similar to how we see other things in our vision, like artifacts from things within our eyes, perhaps, or something like that.
でもそれは問題ではありません。
And if that was perhaps caused by in part by whatever was causing the sweet smell in the study, and then some other kind of trigger.
後宮家の代表であると自負する私と後宮家の当主を引き継いだと自称するあなたが今この場にいる。あなたが本当に魔女なのかどうかは今となっては些細な問題です。さあ決着をつけましょう。後宮家を真に引き継ぐ者はどちらか。この後宮夏日か、あなたベアトリーチェか。あなたの決闘の申し出謹んでお引き受けさせていただきます。
Interesting. So that's what the letter was. And I think we all know who wins that duel. The gold butterfly slowly formed a human shape, which walked into the dim light. And that's when you read the rifle and glared. The witch raised her golden staff overhead and laughed. Natsuhi's finger slowly squeezed the trigger. Battler made an all-out dash at the door and rammed into it, crushing the candle stand that had been barring it and making it possible for a big gap to be opened in the door. He kept kicking the candle stand through that gap, and the door was finally opened. It was finally released. At that time they heard it. They certainly heard the crisp sound of gunfire ringing out at once. Oh, ringing out once.
ジェシカちゃん、一人で先走っちゃいけない。
今のは銃声だぜ。夏代おばさんが撃ったんだ。
At him. At the culprit. The noise had come from the entrance hall, and the entrance hall looked like a stage, like the heroine of a tragedy, on the ground and bathed in light, arrayed in the beauty of that silence. Natsuhi lay face up, crumpled on the floor. Half crazed, Jessica ran up to Aunt Natsuhi. Natsuhi's forehead. It was almost as though the sparkling shard of pigeon blood ruby had been placed there. And from it, One stream of blood makeup passed by her eye and began to traverse her face. The faint smell of gunpowder smoke came from the barrel of a rifle that Matsui still grasped. Huh? Then she shot herself in the forehead? Why?
Wakeがわからない。どうしておばさんは一人で抜け出して、どうして自分の額を撃ち抜いているんだよ。
マリアちゃん、夏日おばさんは手紙を読んでから部屋を出たんだよね。手紙がない。くそ、おばさんは何を読んでどうしてここに誘い出されたんだ。
知らねえぜ、知らねえぜ。そんなことはどうでもいいぜ。なんなんだよ、どうして自殺なんだよ。私を置いてくんだよ。
Jessica clung to her mother's corpse, crying earnestly. My body was consumed with an anger I didn't know what to do with. I snatched the rifle from Aunt Natsui's hand, spun around, pointing the barrel of the gun into the darkness on all sides, as though I was pointing a light from a lighthouse, trying to find the culprit. George Anarchy, even in this situation, was trying to calmly figure something out, but that might have been a fruitless effort. And only Maria was completely indifferent. So is this all supposed to be some kind of predetermined fate? No, that's not it. This is all a prelude to a wonderful world. The door to the Golden Land will finally open.
第9の晩に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。そして第10の晩に旅は終わり、黄金の里へ至るだろう。これで全部終わったね、ベアトリーチェ。おめでとう、おめでとう。だからマリアを導いて。あなたの話してくれた黄金鏡へ、今こそ。
I get the feeling that Battler is about to shoot Maria without realizing it. There, all the dead will be revived, and even the lost love will be restored. So, in Maria's eyes, it's just as though all of today's tragedies didn't happen. It's all as though all the time she spent deprived of love never happened.
いい加減にしやがれ。何が楽しい、何がおめでたい。この島には18人いた。14人死んだ。残りは俺たち4人だ。俺は絶対に死なねえぞ。夜が明けるまで。いや、台風が過ぎ去ってまた船着き場に海猫たちが帰ってくるまで俺は絶対に死なねえんだよ。生き残ってやる、生き残ってやる、絶対。
よしなよ、バトラー。ベアトリーチェに銃なんて意味ないよ。それに生き残るも何ももうおしまいなんだよ。もう旅は終わったんだよ。ほら、時計を見てごらん。
Huh? The clock? Hearing those words, I looked at my wristwatch. Both needles were almost touching near the top. Very soon it will be midnight at night. Okay. In other words, 24 hours. When you think about it, isn't 24 hours a strange time? It can be called 24 hours, or it can also be called 0. It is the hour of culmination of a previous day. And at the same time, it's hour 0 as the next day begins. Maria suddenly called out happily and ran towards the darkness. It was almost as though Beatrice was somewhere in that darkness, and Maria was running up to her. Jessica hugged her mother's corpse, as George Anarchy stood there confused. I looked down the barrel of a rifle, gazing into the darkness. The space in front of Beatrice's portrait lay in that direction, and the thing Maria was running up to was the portrait's subject. You've got to be kidding me. It's just impossible. Like I'd fall for something like this. Witches don't exist. I won't accept it. Something like you shouldn't exist, because this is a human world. You think I could accept something that's not human? I definitely won't accept it. When I pulled hard on the rifle's lever, the cartridge was ejected, fell on the floor, A new cartridge was loaded. And then, I sighted the witch down the barrel. Maria turned around. Still clinging to the golden witch, she turned around.
だから意味なんてないってば。ベアトリーチェに鉛玉なんて意味ないってば。バカだね、人間は。
俺は魔女なんて認めねえぞ。貴様は誰だ。一歩でも動いてみろ。指一本でも動かしてみろ。こいつをぶち込んでやる。
I'm guessing the cackling is Beatrice. As the witch? No. The witches laughed. Even the large clock on the wall joined in on their laughter. It was probably telling us that the time was midnight. It was both a tone telling us that we had reached the culmination of the stay, and a tone informing us that all had returned to nothing. The rule of which would win when time ran out had already been revealed.
ジョージお兄ちゃんにジェシカお姉ちゃん、旅は終わって魔女は
And none shall be left alive. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow forth treasures. One shall be all the gold from the golden land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. So, we've now added another possible love that could be Rosa's love for Maria, potentially. And one shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Why revive her so that she could sleep forever? We're going to have to go through 12. I guess not. So let's say we're going to have to go through 12 rings of the bell. Tolls. Notebook pages and a wine bottle. Bring the fate. Epilogue. Oh, credits. The storm passed, and the leaden clouds that had enshrouded the island for so long began to clear away. Sunbeam shone from rifts between the clouds. Yesterday's storm seemed like an eye. Just as someone had wished, the seagulls returned to the harbour once again and left their lively cries to be heard. Afterwards, the police arrived and conducted an investigation of the scene. Corpses of children, who were believed to have survived until the very end, were never found. However, from the body parts that were discovered and the unimaginably gruesome nature of the scene, the police have been forced to conclude that the chances of survival for any of the 18, including the children, were hopelessly dim. X. Just how gruesome was the banquet of which, and how beautiful was the Golden Land. Just tales of them alone to tell amongst themselves. They have no tale for those who arrived after the banquet had ended. One can only imagine what transpired within the course of those 2 days. However, the witch was fickle. The witch was fickle. She made a point of leaving behind this tale which had no need to be told and permitted it to be spread. A few years later, a strange wine bottle drifting on the waves and quayside of a neighbouring island is received by a fisherman, recovered rather, stuffed inside with tightly rolled notebook pages crammed full of the edges of minuscule writing which never was a tale itself. It will be through these pages that people would first come to know about the nature of the mysterious and riddle-filled 2-day period that began on the date. This incident led referred to mass murders, 18 killings, or Russian June, which in the serial murder case, that was the cult claimed to be sort of However, not one of those interpretations arrives at the truth of facts, and rather notebooks face since they do not tell the truth behind it. In fact, perhaps not even the writer of a notebook knew the truth. Perhaps she managed to know. According to the writer's signature, her name was Shamiya Maria. Her murder was a result of the all-out police search. Padre Maria's body was discovered. A piece of a jaw. It's one of the rare instances where the owner of the body I was able to be identified through dental records, so many parts that could not be linked because of the story being separated from the police consider the chance of sight to be hopelessly dim. Let's conclude the sale of the final paragraph of a notebook. By the time you read this, I'll probably be dead. Whether there may or may not be a corpse, you who have read this, please uncover the truth. That is my only wish. Huh? To this very day, the truth of the witch legend serial murder case has not been brought to light. That doesn't sound like Maria. First game of the Legend of the Golden Witch result. Diamond First Twilight, Diamond First Twilight, Diamond First Twilight, First Twilight, Diamond Second Twilight, Peaceful, Stake of Asmodeus, Stake of Beelzebub, Stake of Mammon, Stake of Satan, Stake of Lucifer, Stake of Belphegor, Stake of Leviathan. Beatrice revived in the Ninth Twilight, she opened the door, Golden Land. Sweet tried on the Ninth Twilight, which praised her nobility and granted her the honour of a duel. George accepted the wish, prostrated himself and survived into Golden Land, accepted the witch, prostrated herself and ran into Golden Land. All of them, Battler denies the existence of the witch, which will she invite him to the Golden Land? Which shall praise wise and grant for treasures, yes. Because what they desire could not be gained from a mountain of gold no matter how. George, his lost fiancée, Jessica, her lost love, Maria, her lost love, and rest in peace, Beatrice, and his love will never be disturbed again. Winner is Beatrice of the 18 nuns over it all golden time, or 18 died when the seagulls cried, none were left alive. I am going to have to go through that again to read it. Rondo of Witch and Reasoning. Shatter? No shatter? Nope, fade to black, okay. And with that I'm going to guess that the second episode has been unlocked. New trophy, yeah, what? Cool. New elements added. Golden Witch has prepared a gift in commemoration of your recent sojourn. The new elements may be accessed from the title screen. And with that, I will be ending it there for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, with the end of that episode, see ya. Okay, last thing. So I went back and checked they were still alive when they left the study. So I'll do the dead ones, because I forgot to do that in the end. Commissar was found in a parlour with a weapon resembling an ice pick having been rammed into a car and her face smashed. Right there. This moves fast. We have Twilight, gouged for leg and kill. I guess I should do it in order then. I think Genji was first, yeah. Found in a parlour with a weapon resembling an ice pick having been rammed into his stomach and his face smashed. And 6 Twilight, gouged his stomach and kill. Nanjo found in a parlour with a weapon resembling an ice pick having been rammed into his thigh and his face smashed. And 7 Twilight, gouged her knee and kill. And I'll go forwards a bit further to get Natsui's. Continuing on with Natsui. Found shot to death in front of a witch's portrait. How impudent of her to challenge a witch with nothing but a mere gun. Of course she'd end up like this. And on that note, yep. See you next time. Bye.